You explain yourself. You stay loyal. You forgive the things that should have broken you, and yet they still doubt you. They say trust is earned. But what they don't tell you is that some people will never trust you, no matter how much you bleed for them. Why? Because they were never looking for your truth. They were looking for control. And the second you step outside their little box of expectations, you become suspicious, dangerous, unpredictable. They say, "You've changed." No, you just stop performing. You stop begging to be seen. Stop bending over backwards to prove that you're the good one. And the moment you stop chasing their approval, they labeled you a threat. It's funny, isn't it? They only trusted you when you had something to lose, when you were silent, obedient, predictable. But when you found your voice, they called it aggression. When you said no, they called it betrayal. So you sit there, wondering, what more can I do? Here's your answer. Nothing. Stop pushing people to trust you, because the moment you beg for it, you hand them power. And the Joker, he doesn't beg. He doesn't explain. He watches, because people's trust is a mirror. They only reflect what they want to see. And when they see your strength instead of your submission, they crack. Let them. Let them misunderstand you. Let them call you fake, untrustworthy, heartless, because the people who truly see you, they don't need proof, they just know. But the rest, let them choke on their assumptions. You were never here to convince them. You were here to wake up, and now that you have, they're the ones afraid to look you in the eye. You thought trust was sacred, that if you gave your best, stayed loyal, remained honest, they'd see your heart. But here's what they don't teach you. Trust isn't about truth. It's about comfort. They trust you when you're easy to digest, when you fit the version of you they created in their minds. The moment you break that illusion, the trust dies. Not because you changed, but because you stopped playing the character they wrote for you. You stop answering every message. You stop laughing at their jokes. You start saying, "I'm tired," instead of "I'm fine." And suddenly, you're the problem. They'll tell you you're distant, cold, arrogant. But deep down, they're just mad they can't control you anymore. Because that's what most people mean when they say trust. They mean obedience, predictability, submission. They don't want to trust you. They want to trust the version of you that never questions them. Let me ask you something. How many times did you bend? How many times did you silence your intuition just to keep their trust alive? And for what? To be left the moment you needed something back? You kept showing up, even when you were empty. You explained yourself, even when they weren't listening. You gave the benefit of the doubt until it destroyed your own. And here's the twist. The people you pushed hardest to trust you were the ones already planning your exit. You were just too loyal to see it. See, the Joker doesn't beg for trust, because he's seen how fragile it is, how temporary, how fake. The people who promised to stay forever left when it was inconvenient. The ones who said, "You can tell me anything," used your words as weapons. And yet, you still Believed the next time would be different. You still wanted to be trusted, loved, chosen. But you've reached that point now, haven't you? The one where silence is safer than honesty, where solitude feels more trustworthy than anyone with a smile, where your darkness has become your sanctuary. Because the more truth you spoke, the more uncomfortable they became. And now, you finally understand. You weren't too broken to be trusted. You were just too real for their comfort. They never trusted you, because they were never meant to understand you. And now, you're done explaining. No more proof, no more apologies, no more playing the humble, harmless version of yourself just to make others feel safe. You gave them chances. You lowered your voice. You carried their guilt, their projections, their fear on your back like chains. But chains rust, and eventually they snap. So here you are, not broken, but reborn. You were never the villain, but they needed you to be. Because it's easier to call someone dangerous than to admit they couldn't control them anymore. They said you were cold because you stopped begging. They said you were arrogant because you finally chose yourself. They said you changed because your silence became a mirror. And mirrors don't lie. You see, this world doesn't respect vulnerability. It fears it. And when you're real, in a world addicted to masks, they call you insane. They call you toxic. They call you joker. But I call it awakening. Let them doubt you. Let them twist your story, erase your kindness, and decorate your name with lies, because their version of you doesn't matter anymore. You no longer live to convince. You live to conquer. You don't chase trust. You command silence. You don't seek approval. You build legacy, and legacy that doesn't beg. It doesn't explain. It rises. You were never weak. You were waiting. Waiting for the day you'd stop seeking their trust and start trusting your own rage, your own strength, your own clarity. This is that day. You're no longer the character they created. You're the storm they can't ignore. Let them doubt you. Let them fear you. Let them run. Because you finally stopped running from yourself. They'll keep doubting you. They'll label you everything they've ever feared, because that's easier than looking at themselves. But here's the truth they'll never admit. You don't need them. Trust isn't something you beg for. It's something you build in yourself. And when you stop chasing approval, stop explaining your every move, that's when the world finally starts to see you. You see the people who will never trust you. They don't get to decide your worth. You get to. You choose what's real, and you choose what's worth your time. So let them fear you. Let them doubt you. Let them talk behind your back. Because while they're focused on your every move, you'll be focused on your own rise. And when you finally stand in your power, they'll look at you just like they always have. But this time, you'll be the one with nothing to prove. You'll be the one who doesn't need to explain anymore. You'll be the one who knows that trust. It was never the point. If you've ever been betrayed, misunderstood, or had your loyalty thrown back in your face, comment below and share your story, or simply write, "I trust myself." That's the only trust that matters.